once again from the Texas Boys channel. And tonight we are going to be talking about being overwhelmed with prepping. And I have my beautiful mother here, Faith, on tonight. So, oh, 1 second. We are having our first technical difficulty there of the night. All right, there we go.
Okay. So if you're overwhelmed, you're in the right place. Or if you just want to be entertained for a little while and hang out with us, you're in the right place too. So either way. Hey, Carlos, we appreciate you being on tonight. And I like your popcorn there. I wish we had some. We are drinking some coffee. I have coffee.
I have ice cold water. So
That's
there you
good.
go.
Yeah. So I have a little mushroom mix in this coffee. It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, let's just jump into it. I think a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed right now. There's a lot going on. It seems like every day there's more happening in the world around us. And as people that are awake and aware, as Christians, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. And we just wanted to kind of speak to that tonight, and how we stay grounded and just keep the main things, and stay simple in our daily tasks so that we can focus on the priorities in life, and prepping, of course, being one big priority, but there's lots of other really important priorities in life too, right? And we have to have a balanced life if we want to run this race, like Paul says, right? We run a race and we don't want to burn out, right? So we want to keep a good, healthy, steady pace so that we can make it to the end of the race. Right? We want to just stay at a nice steady jog.
If you go, it's like running a race or just running in general. If you start your first half mile at just a flat as fast as you can run, you're going to be burnout, and trying to get the rest of your run in is going to be brutal. So that steady, consistency is ideal.
Yeah. And what I want this to be is I want y'all to give us all of your suggestions.
Absolutely.
I want this to be a conversation. So
Simply Jan.
Hey, Simply Jan. So as things come to your mind, because I know we have such a great audience, and just such a great group of friends here on YouTube, that y'all have been doing this stuff forever, just like we have. You've been prepping, you've been building your pantries, you've been growing things, you have animals, you have children, you have church families that you're trying to be a blessing to, you're homeschooling some of you. So we have a lot going on in life that pulls for our attention, right? So just as we're speaking to these things, please, y'all just add all of your tips and tricks and things too, because we are not going to be able to touch on everything, but we're just going to try to speak from our experience here. So we're just going to kind of hit some of the main categories of life, just daily life, and just kind of speak to how we stay really simple and basic in those areas,
and grounded.
And how that grounds us. So I think for the first thing we can just speak about is our Bible study. Like every morning we have a Bible study. I have time alone in the Word. I just listen. I have a Bible app on my phone and I listen in the morning. Sometimes I spend like a half an hour or an hour in the bathroom all by myself before anybody wakes up. And I'll just run the tub and I'll get a nice bath and I'll just turn on my Bible app and I'll just listen along. And it's just wonderful. It's so, so wonderful to just start the morning like so calm and chill and easy. And then as the older boys wake up, we have a Bible study in the front room together. And we've been reading through an Old Testament chapter and then a
Yeah.
New Testament chapter. And we've been doing that since the beginning of the year, I think. About
Yeah.
January, we started back into that routine. And it's just been wonderful. And we talk
Yeah.
about everything.
I
We
think
just
the one
discuss
thing
it.
too is that starting every day with a good foundation,
Mhm.
because there's certain days where you just get out of bed and you jump right into the day and it's
Right.
just stressful thing after stressful thing after stressful thing, and then you go onto YouTube or
Mhm.
whatever and you hear about some stressful news and it's
Mhm.
just stress 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 until
Right.
you finally go to bed and then you wake up. So I
Mhm.
think it's really good, for since we're human beings, for crying out loud, I think it's really good for us to wake up in the morning. That's why I think a lot of people either are like drinking coffee people or tea people or something,
Mhm.
kind of a little bit of a ritual or whatever. You got
Mhm.
that, and then you get your Bible and you read your Bible. I
Mhm.
think that's one of the best ways to just have a good foundation, laying a good foundation for
Mhm.
every day, because then you can build upon that throughout
Yeah.
the day. And then even if you do have, um, you know, something stressful pop up, it's fine because you already built that firm foundation for
Mhm.
the day and you're just ready to go. You can cruise right through it.
Right.
Even better than if you were just jumping out of bed, no Bible, no nothing, and you're just like, you're getting hit with
Right.
all the stress immediately.
And
And
one thing that's
yeah.
really helped, I think, with our Bible study in the
Hmm.
morning is that we have Spurgeon notes all through the Bible. Um, so y'all got these Spurgeon, what are they called? I don't know. Spurgeon Bibles. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a King James Bible, but it has all of Spurgeon's
Like
notes,
commentary and notes. And it is
commentary.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're kind of at a loss for like, okay, what am I going to think here? What am I going to, your
Mhm.
brain is kind of groggy in the morning or whatever. We just read through the chapter and then we read through the Spurgeon notes um, and it's just great because he just dives so deep into so many things and things that we weren't like we would have never put together or we weren't even thinking.
Yep.
And of course we divert and we pick out things and we discuss different things too, but that just gives you a bouncing board to start from. And like I said, I mean, if you're a mom or you have little ones, I set my alarm for really, really early in the morning.
You want to tell them how early?
And I set my alarm, y'all, for 4 o'clock in the morning.
She's crazy.
And um, hey, everybody has different seasons of
I
life.
mean, I
I
guess
would
so.
not be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I am not a morning person at all. I would not be getting up at 4 o'clock if I didn't have little people
Okay,
that
question
get
for our
up really
audience. Go
early.
ahead and post in the chat right now. When do y'all wake up?
What time do y'all wake up?
Because I mean, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I
Yeah.
know that's not really, really early, but you know, I'm not a morning person either,
Yeah.
so it takes me a little bit.
But 4 o'clock, all I can do is roll out of bed and I go in the bathroom and I run the tub water and I get a nice tub all by myself, a nice bath, and I just put on my Bible app and I just listen. And it's just awesome to just start the day like that, just to, you know, get myself ready, just slow and ease into the day. Now, I was after that exercising, but I kind of have taken up my exercise later in the afternoon after
Okay.
I homeschool the little ones. But anyway, I do that because I have little ones, and if I don't do it first thing early, then I just don't have my alone time. So, it just helps me get my head on straight before I even do Bible study with my older boys too. So by the time they come in at 6, we can grab our coffee together. I'm dressed, I'm ready, and I got my mind straight and I'm ready to, you know, be a blessing, Lord willing. So that's the first thing. The second area, I think, which is huge and it affects everybody, is food, right? So,
Yeah.
one thing that we really strive to keep really, really simple is our food. And y'all can just blow it up in the comments over there. Let us know like what you do for food, how you simplify, what, how you do it. For us, it's just eating out of our pantry. So we eat out of our pantry and out of our freezers. And that means we eat whole ingredient bulk foods, and we eat what we prep, and we prep what we eat. And that's pretty much it, y'all.
Yeah.
Um, Now we have added in a once a week pizza night.
Yes, correct.
And the once a week pizza night does break one of our rules, which is dairy. But everybody is happy to break the rule once a week. And the older boys go to the store, they get all the toppings for the pizza, and we just have a blast as a
But
family
we
making our
do
pizza.
make the pizzas from scratch, though.
Right. We have
Yeah.
fun making them. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
From our
awesome.
preps.
We just
So
make up the dough. It doesn't even need to rise, the recipe that I use. So it's just
we
like
should actually add that to the natives. That'd be a good.
the pizza dough
Yeah, the
recipe. Yeah.
pizza dough
Oh,
recipe. That'd be a good one.
and I worked on the website today. So if you haven't been onto the website, TheTexasBoys.com
Yeah, she
lately,
really Texanified it.
yes, you're
However
going to
you would
get
say that.
a big dose of Texas now when
Yes.
you go onto the website. I hope
It's all
y'all
Texas
enjoy
up.
it. I was just kind of super inspired this morning and updated a lot of things on there. So anyway, back to the food. So of course the pantry, but I know a lot of people can
Yes.
get overwhelmed with pantry and
It's
prepping and all of
gluten-free.
that kind of thing. So, when you're talking about prepping, I just love to keep it very, very, very simple. And I learned this mostly from a friend years ago who is from Italy, and she explained what she prepped. And she was like, if you can't prep anything else, prep honey and nuts, because you can live for a very long time on honey and nuts. So she just kind
Pretty
of took
wise.
me through like her bathroom pantry, and she had just like, vinegar and cotton balls and just like basic, like rubbing alcohol. You can do, peroxide, just basic things. And that just really helped me to wrap my mind around the fact that I don't need like every kind of dry bean under the sun. Like,
Yeah, no,
let
that
me
makes
pick
sense.
like our top 3 beans
3 or
that we
4.
really
Yeah.
love as a family, and let me just prep them. And I don't need like every type of sweetener that Walmart carries, right? Let me just think, if I just had to have one sweetener, what would I prep? Would it be honey? Would it be agave? Would it be raw sugar? Like, let me just pick my one thing. And if I had to have one oil, what would it be? And if I didn't have eggs, what would be my egg replacement, right? And if it had to be meat for a certain amount of months, which meats would it be, right? You don't need every type of meat to survive, right? You could
Right.
just have beef, right? Or you could just have whatever. If you have chickens, right? You can survive on very, very basics, right? So just peeling it all back and just keeping it really, really simplified. You can always expand, you can always grow and add in your bulk pantries. But, if I had to prep fruit, what fruits would it be? I don't need every fruit under the sun. Like, I just, so for me, it was peaches and pears. That's our 2 fruits that we have in the pantry. Oh, and pineapple. We added pineapple. So that's it. That's our fruits that we have. Now, would I like to add all the jams and all the things eventually? Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah,
that's
but
not
that's
necessary.
correct.
Like, I
Yeah.
have, tomato sauce. So like one big section gets tomato sauce, and that's it. And you can use it for so many
Yep.
different things. Or oats. And how many different things can we use oats for? And, I use my dried oats for making milk. And so I look at the oats there, the 50 pounds of oats as dried milk ready to use, right there. So, just and using it and eating it and working that into your everyday needs. And for us, like for our meals, they're just super super simple. Like, I mean, I don't meal plan at all. Maybe to my shame.
Yeah.
Other than now we do a weekly pizza night. That's not even planned though. It's just one day on the weekend we'll
Hmm.
decide we're going to make
Yeah.
pizzas that night. And that can change. But that's just kind of a little treat. But breakfasts are like oatmeal or
Yeah.
pancakes, and we have the flour stored in bulk to make it.
Hmm.
Eggs, and all my little ones already, they know how to make pancakes. They can make their own. They know how to make oatmeal. They know how to make eggs.
Lots of
So,
people are saying water also is a good thing to be worried about also or preparing for. Um, that is one reason why I would highly recommend if you can't afford it, to put in a well or maybe invest in some water catchment
mhm,
systems. Um, we have a tank on the property, and then also, which is a pond, and then we have our gutter system on the house, and then we actually ran our gutter system and piped it to the tank, so then the tank holds all of our water
mhm,
and stores it all there. Also, we were thinking that we might actually get some plastic tanks, not the pond, plastic tanks, and actually store water there,
mhm.
so it'd be a little bit more sanitary, but we can always filter it
Right.
out of
Or
the
you
pond.
can pump it out of the pond
Mhm.
into the holding tanks,
Oh,
and
that's
then
what that,
the natural
the
farmer.
natural farmer does that, and that's a
Yes.
really smart way to do it, because this year we've been getting so much rain, the pond over at the ranch is overflowing, so the natural farmer, what he does is before his ponds start to overflow, he'll pump the water from his ponds into a holding
Mhm.
tank, which is really, really
Right.
smart,
And he
and
has
then
them like strategically located
yeah,
all over his property, the holding tanks,
I know,
so
it's so
that
cool.
way
Yeah,
he can water his
it's
orchards
really,
or
really
whatever.
neat,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that will be the next step for us. Somebody saying taco night. Yeah, everything in the
Yep,
fridge, leftovers, canning your leftovers, taking stuff out of your freezer, canning your meats, just continuing to plod along.
yep,
It doesn't have to be like burnout. You can
yeah,
just do a little at a time, batch cooking. um I'm big on that. If I'm going to make a pot of soup, I make a pot of soup big enough for several days,
yep,
right? And then we
yep.
can have two dinners out of it. We can probably have a couple lunches out of it. Or I'll make things and have it all separate. Like I'll have corn and green beans and say ground beef, and I'll put it all in mason jars with lids after we've eaten whatever meal we eat with it, and then I'll just put it back in the refrigerator, and then I can pull those separate things out that are already ready to go and just reconnoiter them into a different meal later. But basically, I mean, I told you what our breakfasts are. Our breakfasts are really simple, and then the kids can, even the little ones, they can make their own. And then trying to think if there's
There's
any
actually a company that I was researching into, and they actually sell metal uh,
holding tanks.
water holding tanks,
Oh,
and they
that's
were
cool.
very reasonably priced. I came across them when we went down to Mother Earth News Fair like 5 years ago, and I was looking into them, and they were really, well, at least back then, 5 years ago, y'all. So a lot has changed since then, but back then they were really reasonably priced. So how is Larry and his bull? They are doing terrific
Yeah,
over there.
he had just
Um,
enough hay to get him through.
yeah, what happened is we got all that hay that y'all gave him, and we actually got the next day, the next day, we literally got 1 foot of rain, and he probably lost close to 20 or 30 round bales due to rot. which was very sad. But the Lord got him through it, and it was absolutely the biggest blessing in the
Yeah.
world.
And he
The poor man,
reuses all of it anyway.
yes,
He
yeah,
has
he
an
rolls it out
orchard
and
over
everything like
there,
that.
and
Yeah,
yeah, it didn't go to
but
waste.
the poor man didn't have to sell off all of his cattle, and that would have just been absolutely so sad because that is his retirement, is his cattle. So I'm just so glad that we were able, as a community here, we were able to preserve Larry's
Yeah.
longhorns. So I'll have to make a update video with
Yeah,
Mr. Larry
that would be
soon.
awesome. So yeah, so getting back to the food. So dinner, I mean, I'll just grab like a meat, or if we're doing a meatless night, it'll just be like beans and something else. But generally speaking, it's like a meat and a
Mhm.
vegetable and maybe some type of starch if it's potato or pasta or something like that. And that's our meals, y'all. Like
Your
they're
husband won't eat leftovers. Leftovers are better than, like, they're always better the next day. You
yeah.
know, the main meals normally really good, but then man, the next day it's like
Yeah.
awesome because you
And
like pile it all on one
you
plate.
can turn your leftovers into something new
That's
too,
true.
right? So if you have certain ingredients, maybe you can make it into like a shepherd's pie, or you can turn it into a casserole, or make it into, like somebody was saying, tacos. You can redesign it so that it's not leftovers, like it's the
Or
same thing.
or just think about this. Think about that you were in the Great Depression, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's starving and dying around you. And guess what? You get to eat these delicious leftovers, and you should stop complaining about it because God's blessing you with this awesome, amazing
That's
food,
right.
and it tastes even better on the second day. And you're
That's
just
right.
lying to yourself that it doesn't. So just think about, hey, I should, ask not, want not. So there you go.
There you
So
go. Yep. So
it's all about the mindset.
that's our food,
Yeah.
and how we keep that really, really simple. I mean, it's real basic, y'all. And I mean, one good way to work on eating your preps is that you don't have other things coming into the house. So you don't have all of these other groceries that are convenience foods that are like processed. It's not good for you anyway. And just things that are just like, oh, I could easily just grab this and make this. So who needs that? Rice and beans, or beef that's in the freezer, or whatever. If you don't have all of those convenience things, you are going to force yourself to eat
Yeah.
what you have in your pantry. And y'all,
Yep.
the way that groceries are right now, we have to be eating what we have in our pantries, and we have to be building our pantries. I mean, it's coming like a freight train. And I know we're not supposed to be talking about stress, y'all, but we need to be building our pantries, seriously building our pantries. And I'm not talking about prepping everything in the world. I'm
Yeah.
talking about find the things, the basic staple foods that you can use to make a zillion different meals with,
Yeah.
and prep them. Potatoes,
Mhm.
tomatoes,
Rice,
beans, rice, just basics, very
flour.
basics, flour,
Yeah.
oats, sugar. Okay. Think you're going on the Oregon Trail, and
Yeah,
just
literally.
imagine that, and then just prep those things,
And also, if it was going to get really, if the poop was gonna hit the fan and everything like they say, and it's getting back to we're going to be bartering, who cares about gold and silver? Those are great things to have, but if you are starving, you can't eat that stuff. So if you got a pantry stocked to the gills, right?
Mhm,
That is worth, you are a billionaire, okay?
mhm,
And you can barter for whatever. If
mhm,
you have a 5 gallon, if you're able to give up a 5 gallon bucket of beans or whatever and
mhm,
trade it, you might be able to buy this, that, and the other
mhm.
or whatever,
And
or help somebody
I
out.
think that it goes along with discipleship. I think that what we eat and what we
Mhm.
put into our bodies, today, I mean, it's really, really, really important. And the things that they're putting into the food, um, is scary, y'all. And it's not, we're so far past like high fructose corn syrup. we're so far beyond
No,
that, and
we're
like
so far
sugar.
past that, it makes high fructose corn syrup sound healthy.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing.
Yeah, it's just it's so,
It's so
so
bad.
bad. We need to be growing food. We need to be eating whole foods. If we're
Yeah.
not growing a lot of food yet, we need to be eating whole basic foods and just being really, really careful with what we're putting into our bodies because the things that they used for the things that they did with the big deception, all of those things you don't need to have injected in you anymore because they've linked arms with the food industry
Mm.
and it's all in the food, y'all.
Yeah,
So,
that's coming very soon.
yeah,
It's
and
already
it's
happening.
and it's
Yeah.
here.
Mm.
So if you
Yeah.
don't believe me, just start reading some labels and looking
Yeah.
at what some of these.
Bioengineered and everything.
Yeah, and bioengineered can mean a lot of different
Mm.
things, and I'm not gonna say it because they'll kick us off. But yeah. So so just eating basic foods.
Yep.
You don't need to make it complicated. Just make it really, really simple. We don't buy a lot of things. We don't buy processed food. We don't
No.
buy prepackaged food. We don't buy sodas, juices,
No.
drinks like that.
And that's the thing.
Um,
Everybody's like, "Oh, the prices are going up." But, if you're not buying processed junk food and everything like that, on top of, your pantry goods and everything like that,
mhm,
you could take your junk food and your McDonald's and your fast food money and
mhm,
put it into your pantry.
right.
Or you can cut something else in your life that's drawing money away from you every month
Mhm.
and put it into your
Yeah.
pantry.
Paper products,
Fill in the blank,
I mean,
whatever.
basically the only paper products that we buy is toilet paper,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
that is not like we could live without it if we had to.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do all cloth, everything else like napkins and
Yep.
everything else. I'm not wasting money on paper products, and that all that money gets turned back into the pantry. Another thing is, your animals. If you can have animals in your backyard, if you can raise rabbits or chickens, if you eat meat or eggs, um, if you can have a dairy
Yeah.
goat, if you consume dairy and you can have something like that, or you can get it locally from someone else, that's just something to look into. So, what are we doing here to keep that simple? We are just hatching out baby chicks like
Nobody's
nobody's business
business.
right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and why are we doing that? Because we're going to have to replenish our
Mm.
older hens
Yep.
and and just for the community as well. We plan to keep some for ourselves, for our family. We function really, really well with about 30 hens. We could have 40 hens and we would be doing great.
Yep.
But about 30 hens is ideal for us to keep us in eggs. And then what am I doing with all the extra eggs right now? I'm putting them all away. I'm putting them in lime water, and I'm doing double the amount that I did last year. And that those eggs will get us through those hot summer months when the chickens lay off of laying, or if they have another time in the fall or whenever, if they slack on laying, we'll still have eggs. Um, and it's just being purposeful
Mhm.
with that kind of stuff.
100%.
Another thing that we really enjoyed last year was putting some pork away into our freezer. So last year we bought pigs that were already grown out, and we went ahead and kept them here on the farm for a little while, and then got processing dates and put all of that pork away into the freezer. And that's been great, y'all. I mean, a big pot of pork and beans will fill everybody's belly
Yeah.
up, and it's just been great.
I would say also, the stress-free cooking too is really nice, especially if you are on a like working homestead,
Yeah,
just that super active homestead, and
yeah,
you are partaking in everything, you're doing it all. And I think one of the coolest things is it's like revolutionized cooking, y'all. It's
Mhm.
called the Instapot, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. If you don't know what that is, look it up and go buy one. They're like
Yeah.
totally worth it. You can throw your potatoes and your meat in there. They're like a crock pot on steroids. Okay. It
Mhm.
takes like 1/10 the time
Yeah.
that a normal crock pot, like what is it for your frozen ground beef? How long does it take
I
to
usually put
cook?
it in for like an hour and a
An
half
hour and a
or
half
maybe
or so.
2 hours, depending on
Yeah.
how much frozen
Yeah.
meat I have in there. But yeah, I'll just take, my beans
Yep.
and a frozen pork roast and put it in there and just let it go for two
Yep.
hours. And I don't have to look at it. I don't have to pay attention to it. I
It's
mean,
awesome.
even just making pasta, I just put it in the Instapot now and set it for, 5 or 6 minutes. And I don't have to babysit it on the
Yeah.
stove. I can walk away and leave.
It's
And
awesome, and it auto, like, turns off and everything.
yeah. I mean, that's just been a big game changer because when anybody can prep dinner or when I can prep dinner in the afternoon and be done with it and it's all there, in the pot ready to go. Or we have two Instapots actually, so we can do two different things. So I can have one going with rice and another one going with something else or, it's just great. That's a huge
I
game
think
changer.
the other thing too is all of the food prices going up is going to force people to grow their own food,
Mhm.
and it's making homesteading look more and more better,
Mhm.
and it's actually profitable. Back in the day when stuff was so stinking cheap at the grocery store, well, and they did that for they did that on purpose too. They
Mhm.
made everything super cheap at the grocery store
Mhm.
to, do their deal and you know,
Right.
to I'm losing my words
Well, I
because
mean,
I'm tired right now.
if you look at the products that are in the grocery store, I
Yeah,
mean, it's basically like a small handful of companies that own all of the
yeah,
products, and you're just going to
yep,
see like, oh, Procter and Gamble.
mhm,
Oh, these are the same. It's the same five mega companies that are making your Oreos and making your chocolate, and it's making your whatever, fill in the blank.
mhm,
It's these same handful of companies. And what do you know? They're all corrupt. They're all in bed together and they're all tied in with the pharmaceutical companies. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. And yeah, the more we can pull back from all of that, the more we can just have our own simple foods from our own land or source them. I understand there's older people and there's people that can't and just don't have the time or don't have the place or whatever. But source these things and just simplify, just super duper simplify and cut back. And it's just that's just the way to go. I mean, this year, right now we're focusing on growing out all of our sweet potato slips. We didn't have the land to grow sweet potatoes this year set up, but we talked to a neighbor. He's an older man
yep,
and he has a big area to grow sweet potatoes and he got it all tilled up and it is ready and he is just tickled to death that he's going to have a field of sweet potatoes and we are tickled to death that he had a field available for us to use to plant the sweet potatoes in. So, maybe you don't have the land, but maybe somebody else does. Maybe there's an older person in your community that used to have a garden that would love to have a garden and they just need somebody to come, till it up and
mhm.
help them do it or plant it or whatever. So, um, Falcon's asking, what about the eggs? So this year I got 3.5 gallon buckets. From what I can read, people started to have some problems with 5 gallon buckets. If you fill them all the way up with eggs and lime water, you might have some breakage. So I kind of steered a little bit away from the 5 gallon buckets, although you don't have to fill them up all the way. And I just got 3.5 gallon food grade buckets and I fill them up 3/4 of the way. So I do 7 quarts of water and then that would be 7 ounces, which I round up a little bit and do 8 ounces of lime in that. And then and that's just regular lime. We can link it for you or whatever. It's just what's it called? Hydrolyzed. I don't know. My brain's not working right now. Anyway, it's the lime that you get from
Oh yeah, I
the
know what.
feed
Yeah,
store or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever.
dang it.
I can see it on the bag and I can't think of it. Anyway, so you put your lime powder in your water and you just put your eggs in there. Make sure they're clean. You can spot clean them a little bit. Just don't scrub them with soap and water,
Yeah.
and don't take all of the bloom off of the egg, but you just want to, if you need to spot clean a little tiny bit with some warm water and a washcloth, that's fine. Just don't scrub them. And ideally, if they are nice, clean, fresh eggs, they shouldn't be more than like 2 days old. Put them in the lime water and just stack them high and deep and put them away. And so that's what I did. So I'm basically doubling up. I got 6 of those 3.5 gallon buckets. Each bucket holds about 100 chicken eggs, a little bit less of duck eggs because they're bigger. And yeah, we'll have plenty of eggs. We use them for baking. The kids use them in smoothies. Smoothies is just another thing, just a health boost. My older boys at least have like one smoothie a day. My little kids, I try to get them a smoothie in every once in a while. It's just a good nutrition dense.
Yeah, you can just kind of throw everything in it.
Yeah.
We have our mushroom powder that we throw in there. We have our some healthy protein powder that we throw in there. Our raw eggs. That's another beautiful thing about raising your chickens. You can throw your raw eggs into your smoothie, and you don't taste them at all. And I think it makes the smoothie that much better. And you can put in your um, berries and all different types of things like that. That's the one reason why we have the food forest, 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and we're trying to produce our own fruit because that's our next step, is to eliminate buying fruit.
Yeah.
Being able to freeze and can enough fruit that we do not have to be going to the grocery store and buying this fruit, because we can't trust labeling. And even if you're paying double or triple for the organic stuff, you still don't know what's been sprayed on it, and you don't know the farmer, unless you're buying really, really local. So we've kind of resorted to just buying the normal frozen fruit, and just working our hardest to get everything all planted and all ready to go. We're about on our 7th year on with our fruit trees, and this year it's looking pretty good. So we'll see. Yeah, it's looking very promising. So we'll see how much we can put away. Hopefully, it will actually make it into the house this year. Some of it. We always do really good with pears. Our pears, we always get to put up loads and loads and loads of pears. So we make everything out of that. So, but yeah, I think we're just going to have to return to a more simple way of living, because it's getting so dang toxic with all the nasty stuff that they put in everything, and them spraying on us. And I sound like a tinfoil hat crazy guy, but
No, I mean, I think
that's what
it's
it
pretty
is. That's what
basic
they're doing.
knowledge. I
Yeah, it
mean,
is.
even like our farrier was here today and
I love that guy.
took care of
That
our
guy's awesome.
horses' feet for us. And he is, very awake and aware of what's going on. And he was just telling us some basic standard grocery store practices with meats. And he was like, I will not eat meat out of the grocery store. And he was just telling us why. And I understand if you have to buy meat at the grocery
Yep.
store. We did for years. I'm not saying,
100%.
you do what you got to do and you just do the best you can with where you're at. But we all have to be taking steps towards, creating a community and building those relationships, sourcing our food. And if we can, by all means, we need to be growing at least some, attempting to grow some. If you can have chickens or
Yeah.
whatever, if you can have quail, anything that
Rabbits,
you can do,
fill in the blank.
it'll just be so much better for you in the long run. How long do the eggs stay fresh in the lime water? I think they say like up to a year or
Yeah.
something like that. I saw somebody say 13 months. Our eggs don't last that long because we eat them. So it's
Yeah.
like all of our pantry storage. Nothing ever lasts for a year
No,
around
no.
here. It's just like
But the
we go
cool
through
thing
stuff.
is when we have oodles of chicken eggs
Yes.
in the spring and early summer and even into the fall when it starts to cool down a little bit. And when we're going into our winter time, which is, 3 months, um, and our egg production drops quite a bit, we have eggs to that are all stored away in our pantry. Also with the lime water, uh, what are those called? What is that called precisely for the not pickling eggs? What's that called? What's
Oh,
that process called?
water glassing.
Water glassing. There you go. When you're water glassing your eggs, also keeping them in a dark, cool environment. Also, so we have ours in a 5-gallon bucket. No, 3-gallon bucket
Mhm.
with a screw top lid, and we keep them underneath our butler's pantry table, and it's on the ground, like sitting on the floor.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really good place for them. It's nice and cool. What would really be awesome, ideal, is if you had a root cellar.
Oh, yeah,
That
that
would
would be
be
great.
ideal. You
Sure.
go put them down there, and they're probably last that much longer than just having them sitting in a 70-degree pantry.
Right.
So if you have
So
one of those available,
So guys, just I
yeah,
see some of the comments, just keep telling us all the different things that y'all do. Tell us some of your good go-to pantry meals or your
yeah.
easy meals that you do during the day.
What does the butler do? I wish we had a
Yeah,
butler.
we don't have a butler, but I do have a nice table in my
Yes.
pantry that James made me, and I love it. I super duper love it. He just made it for me like maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And it houses all of our appliances that were previously in my kitchen cabinets. So all the big appliances go on that table, and that's awesome. It keeps it all out of the kitchen. So it just gives me more space in the kitchen.
Philip, that is why we do not buy soft drinks because it has all that junk in it. And you wonder why so many people have kidney stones at young ages and,
Mhm.
diabetes. It's a very sad thing, and I knew a man, he used to drink a lot, and then the dear Lord actually saved him, which was absolutely a blessing. But he traded beer for Pepsi. And sadly enough, he got a couple kidney stones, and he went ahead and got surgery done and everything, and he just kept chugging Pepsi like
Oh, wow.
like crazy. And I'm like, what type of delusion are you living in, buddy? Because like that's
Yeah.
one thing. Like if you look it up, I mean, Pepsi is right along with kidney stones, and
Yeah, the sugar
there's just the sugar.
is
It's
bad.
it's
Yeah.
really not
But there's way
that
worse things
high.
than sugar right now. So be careful, y'all.
That's very true.
Be
That is
careful
very
out
true.
there, y'all.
It's pretty crazy, y'all.
Yeah, so moving on, so we were talking about
Yeah.
keeping our food simple. So another thing that I know affects everybody's life every single day if you wear clothing, and I hope you do if you're on this live stream, is laundry. So um those moms out there, y'all can, or if you are Carlos, if you do your own laundry, you can chime in here, but you can just let us know what you do to keep your laundry simplified. And I'm going to share with you my simple laundry system and how I manage everybody's laundry here on the homestead and how it just stays really, really simple. And I've tried way a lot of different systems over the years, and I always go back to this and it works really, really well. So let me just break it down for you real quick, and I promise this can work for anybody. It doesn't even matter what age or how many children you have at home or anything. This could work. So basically, I keep everybody's laundry separated. I do not put all of the laundry together. And by doing that, everybody has their own little, right now, it's a laundry bag. I got these like laundry bags that are, they're a pretty large size, like standard, I guess a hamper size, like a standard laundry hamper size bags. And everybody has a different one. And they stay in that person's bedroom, and except for the bag that does the towels, the bathroom towels, that one stays in the bathroom. And then my kitchen, like towels and rags, I have a little container that stays on top of my dryer, and I can put like the really yucky, dirty, wet washcloths or kitchen towels. They go in that container on top of my dryer. But everybody else has their own separate laundry bag. Now, it doesn't have to be a laundry bag. You can use, we've used those plastic milk crates over the years. They're really nice because they're cheap. You can pick them up anywhere. A lot of times when it's back to school time or college time, you can get those plastic milk crates, and they hold a nice manageable amount of laundry. It's not a huge amount, and they have the holes in them, so they're ventilated, so you're not going to get, mildewy laundry or anything like that. Anyway, we've done that over the years. You can use all different things. You could go to the dollar store and get little baskets for everybody's room, whatever. Just some type of container to put each person's laundry in, and it has to stay in their room. Okay, that's step number one. And then step number two, and the towels stay separate. And then step number two is that you just kind of keep an eye on everybody's laundry. And when you see somebody has a full bag or basket or whatever of laundry, you grab that person's and you dump it into the washer. We don't sort anything here on the homestead. And I wash it, and then I throw it into the dryer, or if you hang your stuff up, whatever. And then I dry it, and then I take it and fold it all up and put it right back into that little basket, and then give it back to that person to go put their things away. The only exception to that would be me and Miss Grace's clothes, because we hang up a lot of our clothes. So that is even easier. It comes right out of the washing machine wet. I put it right on hangers, and I hang it up, and then it dries hanging up. So that is the laundry system. And you're going to say, how does that save time? Well, it's because you're not sorting
Yes.
through
Yes.
everybody's
Yeah.
clothes. That is the big time killer, is when you have to sort through all of, even if it's just you and your husband, if you're throwing your clothes in together, and then you have to sort out all of your underwear and all of your socks and all of his pants and everything, it takes more time. But if I can just take my husband's bag of laundry, throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and then throw it back in his bag, I'll take that bag right back to our bedroom, put it right on the bed, and I'll fold up his stuff, I'll hang up all his things, and I'll put it all away. And it's so like rewarding. I know that sounds weird, but it's so rewarding to be like, sometimes I'll text him. This is how dorky I am, y'all. And I'll be like, I just did the man of the house's laundry. And I'll text him and tell him that. And he'll be like, thank you. But it's so nice to just feel like, okay, the man of the house is taken care of. All of his laundry is put away. All of his socks are put away. He is totally taken care of. And then when it's my day for my laundry, I can just enjoy washing, drying, and taking care of just my laundry. And I know that sounds so dorky and so weird, but it really feels good to like, there's all my dresses, they're hanging up. Here's all of my stuff. It's all folded and put away. And now the lady of the house, all of her stuff is done. Like, or if it's Miss Grace, like all of the little princess's things are all done, and all of her things are hanging back up, and she's done. Like,
Yeah.
that feels so great. And I'm not doing laundry every single day because of that, because I can just like, I don't have to waste time on sorting. So it's fabulous. I'm telling you, it's so satisfying. And the older boys, they always keep their laundry separated and sorted anyway. So they just bring it in, wash it, and dry it. And then they just take it out to their tiny house. And they have a really nice closet that James built them. And everybody has their own section of the closet. And they have a section to hang up
Yep.
all of their things. And then a couple shelves where they can put their things to. And
hmm
doesn't it feel good? Like, doesn't it
No,
really?
yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's self-care, y'all. I mean, I'm telling you, having your clothes taken care of is just, it feels so good. It's like starting the day with taking a nice hot bath in the morning. It's just like, it just feels good to have all of your clothes. Like, there's all my clothes and they're all done and taken care of. Like, or even when you do the towels, like, okay, all of the towels in the house are done. And you know what? Like, I have really been like kind of playing around with it a little bit and seeing, like, I might do a load or two throughout the week, but not too much anymore. I've been kind of just cramming all of the laundry on Thursday now, and I'll just do laundry from like morning until night. I mean, obviously, I'm doing other things too, but I'll just keep working on laundry and just get it all done that day. And then that way it frees up my other days that if I need to strip somebody's bed, because y'all, we got a lot of beds in this house, right? And it's a big project to strip all the beds or another. So I can just take one day and strip somebody's beds down and do all of their bedding and then put it all back on their bed. And I'm not trying to do normal daily laundry and strip a bed, right? I have like days that I can do that now, or take all the pillowcases off the pillows in the house that are on the couches and things like that, and then just do all of that. Like, I don't know. That just, it's the little things, y'all. I'm talking
hmm
about not being stressed, not being overwhelmed, and just keeping things really, really simple. And like food, meals, animals, gardening, growing things, your pantry, your laundry. These are like real things that really impact your stress every day. I'm sorry. Like, I know that sounds really silly, but um, it's just a thing. In the dryer is the thing here. What did she say? Finding things in the dryer. Oh, girl, the things I find in the dryer.
Bullets,
Please don't
money,
say what we find in the dryer.
everything,
Ah.
knives.
Oh, dollars are great when you find
Mm,
dollars in the dryer.
yes,
But
it's
yeah,
you're rewarded.
usually I have a lot of boys. I usually find like all
Everything.
kinds of little silly things. But that's the kind of nice thing about doing my laundry separate too, is that my laundry is not getting trashed by, you know, other people's laundry. I'm speaking of one little soon to be 5-year-old in particular. Um, if my laundry gets in the washer with his, who knows, y'all. I found an egg in my minivan yesterday. I was wondering
Oh man.
why my
Hey,
van was getting
you
stinky.
you found an egg in the washing machine
I found an egg in the
and
washing
it didn't
machine.
break.
That was hysterical.
It didn't
I
break.
don't know how that happened.
An egg in the washing
It went
machine.
through the heavy cycle of the
Heavy
washing
cycle.
machine.
An
And it
egg.
was in with like jeans and like
Everything.
heavy duty stuff. And I just like grabbed like the jeans and everything. I'm just like grabbing them out of the washer and going to throw them into the dryer. So I'm just like, grabbing them like you would grab a bunch of jeans, like heavy, right? And this little white thing just goes plop and like falls out. And I'm like, was that an egg? I'm like, are you kidding me? And it I have no idea how an egg made it all the way through the heavy cycle
Who
of the washing
knows?
machine and it never broke. Okay. But anyway, yeah. No, I have egg stories like you wouldn't believe, y'all. But I found an egg in my minivan. I'm like, man, it is just stinking in this minivan. Like, I got to figure out what in the world. And okay, this is going to lead on to. So, anyway, there was an egg again
Mhm.
from my 4-year-old who is obsessed with eggs. He put it in the back. You know how the minivan seats, like the front seats, have those little, what are they? Like the magazine holders or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to
whatever.
put in them.
I have
Whatever.
no idea.
Those little stuff holders that are like sewn into the back of the seats.
Yeah, the
Well,
little
down the
pocket.
little pocket,
Yeah,
well, down in there was an egg, and
it's a junk collector.
it was not broken all the way, but it was broken enough that it was stinking up my minivan horribly. So, as you can imagine. But anyway, so we had a discussion about that, why
Mm,
eggs don't belong in the minivan.
mm.
But speaking to that, that is another
That was the
way
golden egg.
that was. Oh my.
Oh, man.
Keeping your vehicle clean, just
Mm,
going once a week and vacuum it out. I can preach to you now that I told you I found an egg in my minivan, right?
yeah.
But that's why I have to go once a week. And my husband probably thinks this is ridiculous, but I run the car through the car wash. I have a little monthly membership. Don't worry, y'all. I don't spend
Don't
like, yeah,
crucify her. But that's
but
another thing for people,
I pay for the little
though.
monthly membership
Yeah.
fee, and then I run the van through every
Mhm.
single week. It has free vacuuming there. I
Yeah.
vacuum it all out and
Which,
wipe down
yeah.
whatever needs to get wiped down. And it's so wonderful to just have a clean
Mhm.
vehicle. Like, and I always do it before we go to church on Sunday. So usually, like Friday or Saturday, if I have to run to town for something, that's when I'll clean the car. I fill it up with gas. I do, I fill it up with gas. I run it through the car wash. I vacuum it
Mhm.
out. I wipe down whatever needs to get wiped down. It's not perfect. It's not like, y'all, I got 6 kids. Nothing in my life is like meticulous and perfect, but it's clean. It's clean enough that you just feel good when you get in it. And if you're going to church, or if you have to all get in the van to go somewhere, or if it's just by yourself, it just feels good to be in a clean vehicle. Like, I'm telling you, with the way that life is, these little tiny things just make a huge difference. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know what else we're talking about here on here. Nothing else in my life really has too much of a routine. So I'm giving y'all like the very specific things that actually have
Yeah.
a
I
routine.
think just to wrap up the show here, since we're almost an hour in, is, to be aware of your surroundings and to know what's going on. I think that's really good. I don't think we should be like an ostrich with its head stuck in the sand, but also I don't
Right.
think it should totally control our lives by like the end of the world is coming and we
Right.
should all be scared and
Right.
I don't know, just
Yeah, sure. I
just
mean, I think that's what I'm trying
weird,
to
you know?
encourage y'all, that
Yeah.
like, as much as we prep our pantry
Yep.
and we prep our food and our gardens and our animals and all of our things, right? And we're homeschooling our
Yep.
children and we're trying to keep everything, simple and all of that. But the other important thing is that you are creating a calm, just a solace, like just a place where your family has just a peaceful place to come apart from the world, and you can just it's not a museum, it's not clean, like squeaky clean, like everything's cleaned with bleach or vinegar or something
Nope.
like that, but it's a place where
It's a farmhouse.
you can just have peace, right?
Yeah.
And if that means that you need to buy a throw blanket from the Dollar General and put a throw blanket on your couch so you can feel like you can cozy up with a little cheap throw blanket and watch some old movie or some old show and
Fill in the
sip your
blank.
coffee or sip your tea. Like, all of that soul feeding stuff is just as important. Okay. It's important that you freshen up and paint your walls, and that your house is tidy and clean, or that you put some fresh flowers on your table, or you buy some artificial flowers and put them in a vase and put them on your kitchen table. Like that atmosphere and creating that. You have some comfy pillows on your couch if you like comfy pillows on your couch or on your bed. Like those things don't cost that much money, y'all. And once you buy them and they're there. And that sanctuary that you're creating, when you know all the wheels fall off, that really, really makes a difference. That you have some clothes that you enjoy wearing. Buy a new dress, ladies. Buy If you can buy a new dress, buy a new dress now and put it up and have something that you enjoy, because when the wheels fall off, guess what? It's going to be pretty nice to put on a dress and put on your little wartime music or whatever in your kitchen and start canning and put on your apron or whatever. And it's just going to be the little things that you can find some solace in and some joy in, so that you can do, the more important things. Yeah, there's work. Yeah, there's food. There's stuff that we have to prioritize, but creating that retreat and that sanctuary is like so important and so high up there. And um, I just encourage y'all, homemakers, moms, grandmoms, whatever you are, maybe you're a mother-in-law or whatever. If your daughter-in-law would appreciate a throw blanket or would appreciate a Instapot or whatever will make life comfy and cozy and a little easier. Let's just keep focusing on those things too, because that is like, it's really important.
Yeah.
Like, really
Yeah.
important. The more crazy the world gets, the more the atmosphere
Yep.
of the home is important.
100%.
So that's it. That's
That's
all I
it.
got.
Rant over.
Rant over. I don't have any more egg stories. Are you aware that 40% of us live alone?
Mm.
You don't know what works on my feet. Um, I mean, most of our neighbors are alone,
Yeah.
so I reach out to other people. Make sure that you're reaching out. If you're on here and if you're a family, reach out to people that are alone. Make sure, give them a hug. If
Yeah.
you see them, stop by, give them a hug. Make sure you're telling them over and over again, if you need anything, give
Yeah.
me a
And
holler.
tell them how
What
much
do you
you
need?
appreciate them.
Um,
Yeah.
See what things you can do for each other. Make an extra pot of soup, or if you are alone and you have,
Go to
extra
church.
time, yeah, go to church.
Yeah.
Go be a blessing to a young mom who has a bunch of little kids that
Yep.
doesn't have any time, and make a little extra pot of soup and give it to somebody, or make a little extra loaf of bread or a little dessert, and reach out to people. People are so lonely right now. So don't isolate yourself, especially during these times. And don't make yourself feel isolated either. If you're isolated, it very well could be your own fault. Make sure you're reaching out and trying to be a blessing to others, and just make a phone call. You don't have to cook a meal. Just reach out and make a phone call. Just say, I was just checking in on you, just making sure you're okay. Can I bring you anything? Why don't you come over for a cup of coffee? Um, just all of those things are really important.
Yes, we are trying to go live around. We tried to go live around 7 tonight, p.m. Central Standard Time, but we had to shoot another video, and then it kind of got pushed back to 8:30. But normally our live streams are around 7 p.m. If we can find something interesting to talk about. If we don't go live at 7 p.m., it's because we didn't find anything interesting that day to talk about to y'all or to share to y'all. Also, update, honey update. The honey will be restocked tomorrow, Lord willing.
Yes.
If nothing goes wrong. So just be checking up over there. Lord willing, when we go live tomorrow, we will be able to talk to y'all about that. And it should be ready to go by tomorrow evening. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's over at TheTexasBoys.com, where we sell our unvaccinated honey, and we sell them in all different types of sizes. We sell them in 1 pounds all the way up to 5 pounds. And then we just started selling our 1 gallon unvaccinated, unpasteurized honey. And it's locally sourced honey. And we absolutely love it. And I think it tastes incredible. And it doesn't have any of that nasty, disgusting, those disgusting chemicals that they're spraying all over these fields and things like that, and then letting the honeybees go out there, like those almond fields, almond tree places. They'll bring in all these bees and have them go and pollinate all these almond trees over in California, but they spray them with Roundup and all these other different nasty chemicals. So then the bees have it all on them, and then the bees have gross, they give them like probiotics and all types of stuff so that they can survive. There it is, sorry. Antibiotics and different things like that. And it's really not good for you or the bees, but the bees kind of have to have it or whatever so they can live in a synthetic environment like that. So anyway, all that to say, the bees don't have any of that junk in them, and they're not feeding them any of that garbage. So if you want to, you can go check out TheTexasBoys.com for if you want to buy some local honey. And also, it's pretty competitively priced. That way y'all can just stock up on it if you want to, if your honey supplies are running low in your pantry. But anyway, y'all, I think that's all we had to say. I'm all talked out. All of us brothers worked really hard. We worked for probably all day long on the fence. We set all of our posts in concrete and things like that. So anyway,
that's it.
YouTube guys in Texas. Are any of you YouTube guys in Texas? Yes. I don't know what that comment means. We get crazy comments, y'all.
We're in Texas.
Yeah, we're in Texas.
All right.
Yeah, last time I checked.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you.
You sound tired. Yes, I'm very tired.
Jamie, thank you, Tess, Philip.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Narrow
Everyone,
Paths,
thank you,
Sherman's Family Farm, Andrea, Wimmer, Mary. I'm probably missing some people on here.
Greatest ever.
Simply Jan. Greatest ever. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, it was super fun, and I hope y'all have a
we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, Doctor, thank you. I hope y'all have a super blessed night.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all later.